All right, today we're diving into something really powerful. We're going to explore a spiritual idea about how to find a state of peace that is so profound, so deep, that it stays unshaken, no matter what life decides to throw at you. This is a response to hardship that goes way beyond just survival. It's about finding a real and lasting contentment.
You know, we all have those moments, right? The ones that just shake you to your core. Moments of loss or pain or just total confusion that lead every single one of us to ask a really fundamental question.
It's probably the most human question there is. When it feels like the universe has just singled you out for a bad day or a bad year, this is often the first thing that comes to mind. It's really just a cry for meaning when everything feels like chaos.
So how in the world do you answer a question like that? Well, we're going to look at a spiritual framework for this profound contentment. It's known in Arabic as Rida, and it's built on two core foundational beliefs.
Now listen, this is not just about gritting your teeth and being patient. Al-Rida it's a whole other level. It's an internal state of satisfaction, a deep and unshakable peace that comes from seeing a higher wisdom at play, even in things that on the surface seem totally tragic or unfair.
So this contentment really stands on two big pillars. First, there's the belief in an owner who is all-wise and literally does nothing without a purpose. And second, there's seeing yourself as the owned, trusting that owner's plan so completely that you just surrender to it. It's a relationship that is built on absolute total trust.
Okay, to really get this, we can't just talk theory. We need a case study. And the sources present the life of the Prophet Muhammad as the ultimate example of these two pillars in action.
And check out this quote. The way it's phrased is just incredible. The scholar Ibn al-Jawzi doesn't just say trials. He says the wonders of calamities fell on him. It's like not just bad things, but the craziest, most unbelievable hardships you can imagine. And yet, through it all, his internal state of peace never changed.
So what kind of calamities are we talking about here? Well, let's just run through a quick timeline. Imagine being kicked out of your own hometown, then being physically attacked in a city called Taif so brutally that his ankles were bleeding. He was mocked constantly by his own relatives, the very people who should have had his back. He faced hunger so extreme that he'd tie a stone to his stomach just to deal with the pain. And he had to endure the unimaginable heartbreak of bearing his own baby boy.
And believe me, it doesn't stop there. The sheer humiliation of having the insides of a slaughtered animal thrown on his back while he was praying. The pain of hearing his wife, Aisha, being targeted by a vicious public slander campaign. The man everyone used to call the trustworthy was now being called a liar and a magician. He literally watched his closest friends get tortured and killed right in front of him, and even his own body suffered. He had a fever so intense, it was said to be like the fever of two men put together.
And this is the thing. It wasn't just one bad chapter in his life. The hardship was constant, right up to the very end. On the night he passed away, his household was so poor that there wasn't even enough oil to light a lamp. Hardship was his companion from beginning to end.
So after all of that, what did he say? How did he respond? Well, it all comes down to this one sentence. I am the servant of God. Boom, that's the recognition of being the owned. And he will not let me be lost. That is pure, unshakable trust in the wisdom and care of the owner. He never asked, why me? Instead, he showed this profound certainty that a wise plan was unfolding, no matter how painful it was.
In this way of thinking, this incredible peace, it wasn't just for him. He taught it to others. And there's this one story that just perfectly shows how powerful it can be.
Okay, so picture this. You're a general, Qutayba bin Muslim. You're on a battlefield, and the army you're about to face is massive, just overwhelming. The odds are completely stacked against you. So what's your game plan? Where do you even begin to look for hope? You'd think he'd call for his toughest soldier, right? His most brilliant strategist? Nope. He tells his men to go find one specific guy in the ranks, a famously devout and humble man named Muhammad bin Wasi. All he wanted to know was what this one man was doing.
So his men go find him, and what's he doing? Is he sharpening his sword? No. He's just leaning on his bow, pointing one finger up at the sky, praying. And when the general hears this, his face just lights up. He declares that that single praying finger, a symbol of total reliance on the owner, was worth more to him than an army of 100,000 soldiers. And, as the story goes, they won the battle.
But wait, the story doesn't end there.
After the victory, the general offered Muhammad bin Wasi a crazy prize from the battle, a head sculpture made of solid gold. And his immediate response? I have no need for it. When they basically forced him to take it, he did, walked away, and gave the entire priceless treasure to the first poor man he saw in the street. That right there? That's the kind of detachment that comes from true contentment.
Okay, so where does all this lead? What's the end game here? What happens when you truly master this art of contentment?
It's a complete, radical shift in how you see everything. You move way beyond just accepting what happens or just being patient with it. You get to a place where you actually love whatever destiny brings because you see it as a direct, personal gift from a wise and merciful owner. Every single event becomes a sign of that relationship.
One of the Prophet's companions, Ibn Mas'ud, put this feeling perfectly. He said that he wakes up in the morning, and whatever his situation is, rich or poor, healthy or sick, that situation is the most beloved thing to him, just because it's what destiny chose for him that day.
And that really leaves us with a big question for ourselves, doesn't it? If we really believed deep down in a wise owner who has a perfect plan for us, how would that change the way we look at our own lives? Would those things we call calamities, would they even look like calamities anymore? Or would we start to see something else inside them entirely?